Welcome to your Barbados Today Evening News Update for Monday, February 24. The 11 Plus examination is on its way out. According to Education Minister Cynthia Bradshaw, this is likely to be the final year for the annual test held in May to transition primary school students to secondary schools. Bradshaw gave the update as debate on the 2020 to 2021 estimates got underway at the Worthing Corporate Centre in Christchurch this morning. She told lawmakers national consultations are set to start as early as next month.
This is something which obviously the entire population needs to weigh into as well. One of the good things so far is that we have a number of people from Barbados who are educators across the world who have been reaching out and offering support for this transition. They're excited because they have come through the educational system in Barbados, but they, like many of us, understand the deficiencies. And they have been part of models of education that they have seen working, particularly the middle schools and the high schools, and they have a voice in terms of helping us to shape the type of policy that will come to the stream. So I do look forward to engaging that conversation. We are hoping that this will be the last cohort of students that will participate in the 11 Plus examination. And if that is the case, then, as I said, once we start in March, it is intended that we will spend a few months in discussion with the entire country and be able to formulate a program going forward for implementation for 2021 or 2022.
Bradshaw says an advisory committee has been set up to assess various systems to examine what's best for Barbados. The committee has been mandated to take a broader look at the issue of education reform.
One of the things that we've looked at is the whole concept of middle schools and high schools. We've drawn on a number of the international countries as well as in the region, the best practices in all of those regions. A few weeks ago, I established an advisory education committee to be able to delve into not just the whole issue of reform in relation to the 11 Plus, but to dig deeper into whether our system is working for us in terms of teacher training and evaluation, continuing education, tertiary education. What is it that we need to now project in terms of the type of educational system that we want to see? And a large part of that transition obviously starts with the 11 Plus examination, whether a decision will be made in terms of extending the age for primary, so that you will extend it for a longer period. Those are all considerations that we're making. The intention is that as we continue to consult, and I intend to go to the public from March after these estimates, so that we can start the conversation with the public regarding the type of model that works best. I think we are generally agreed that there needs to be some changes, and that's why I said that while we are working through the fine-tuning of the details of the system, it is important that we still continue to change the way in which our curriculum unfolds.
Meanwhile, government is making a multi-million-dollar investment in robotics and Wi-Fi connectivity in schools as part of plans to ensure the island fully exploits the benefits of emerging technologies.
Not on a small scale, ma'am, but to be able to take this to an entirely different level, where we are prepared to invest this year the sum of $5.651 million in not only robotics equipment, but ensuring that robotics is placed across all of our secondary schools. We introduced the pilot in the nursery schools and also in some of the primary schools. We will also be capturing the attention of students at the special schools, and the intention is to also roll out robotics clubs across all of the secondary institutions as well. Devices will be provided for students as well as teachers, and we have a very rigorous program designed to engage teachers in training and retraining, because we do have some existing in the system presently who can teach the program, but we want to be able to give as many options to our young people in the current climate to explore as much as possible the area of robotics and new technologies.
Opposition leader Bishop Joseph Atherley turned attention to what he called critical issues affecting education. He expressed disappointment that the ministry did not clearly outline an action plan to tackle issues including violence in schools.
The spread of deviance in the school system in Barbados today, and I think the Honorable Minister just alluded to that briefly and indicated she would come back to some of that. But what is the intention of the ministry in the plan with respect to addressing deviance in the school system, and beyond that, to the extent that the Ministry of Education can be involved, the spread of violence in the close precincts of our school in Barbados today. what is beyond deviance, the clear plan to address the seeming sense of disillusionment among many of our school leavers, secondary level, tertiary level, who seem to have come to a place where they're very negative in terms of their outlook, the chances of finding career and job opportunities in Barbados today.
In other news this Monday, Acting Chief Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Kenneth George, today assured that the quarantine center set up at the St. Lucie District Hospital to keep the coronavirus away is no threat to the public. He made the comments in response to concerns expressed by residents of surrounding communities. According to George, in order to be infected, a person must be in very close contact within 1 to 2 meters of someone exhibiting symptoms. He made it clear that no property within the district is near enough to be contaminated. Dr. George also disclosed that the ministry will be securing the entire compound with fencing and will continue to make sure that staff at the center observe all the protocols established to ensure public safety. There are no cases of coronavirus in Barbados.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
It's Festive Friday at the Bridgetown Night Market at Pelican Craft Center. Kick off the weekend this Friday from 4 p.m. to midnight with loads of food, drinks, and entertainment. Get ready for Crop Over with the Rhythm Roots Street Parade. Party like it's Kadooman Day on the street around Pelican Village with costume reveler, music, and more. It's Festive Friday. It's Festive Friday at the Bridgetown Night Market at Pelican Village Center from 4 p.m. to midnight. Admission free.
To regional news now in the Bahamas, members of the Rastafarian community say they're not satisfied with the recommendations put forward to the government by the Marijuana Commission, and they're not withdrawing their lawsuit. We get the details from Eyewitness News in the Bahamas.
According to Wayne Monroe QC, the group is suing the government for the right to cultivate, possess, and supply marijuana as a sacrament. They are also seeking damages and the expunction of marijuana-related convictions from their criminal records. In its preliminary report to the government, the Bahamas National Commission recommended that Rastafarians be allowed to utilize the substance under a regulated framework. Marijuana Commission co-chairman Quinn McCartney last week explained how the recommendations will work.
If they have that as part of their ceremony as a Rasta, you do it in the Rasta camp on your Sabbath. The argument was, their body's a temple of the Lord, and they can have worship anywhere they are. So I say, you expect a Rasta to be walking down Bay Street smoking a joint, saying he's celebrating the Sabbath, or his sacrament. I tell him as an Anglican, we don't go downtown and give communion. You go to church for communion. And I guess that's how you do the breaking the bread and then the body of blood in your church. I don't think Bishop, you would just do it in the middle of the street anytime as a free fall. So we say if it's a Sunday worship service, you get your sacrament there. If it's a Sabbath worship for the Rastas, you can get your herb or whatever you want to call it in that ceremony. But they feel that Rastas should be able to walk anywhere around the Bahamas with a joint in their pocket or whatever. And we're saying, no, we're not recommending that at all.
He also said a Rastafarian council will be established to determine who is legitimate and who is not.
On the international scene, a gallery of basketball legends joined thousands of Kobe Bryant fans in Los Angeles today to pay tribute to the NBA star, his daughter Gianna, and 7 others who died in a helicopter crash last month that shocked the world of sports and beyond. The Celebration of Life Memorial at the Staples Center, Bryant's home arena during most of his storied 20-season career with the Los Angeles Lakers, featured an emotional address by Bryant's widow, Vanessa.
I'll never get to see my baby girl walk down the aisle, have a father-daughter dance with her daddy, dance on the dance floor with me, or have babies of her own. Gianna would have been an amazing mommy. She was very maternal ever since she was really little. Kobe always said she was me. She had my fire, my personality, and sarcasm. She was tender and loving on the inside. She had the best laugh. Kobe and I have been together since I was 17 and a half years old. I was his first girlfriend, his first love, his wife, his best friend, his confidant, and his protector. He was the most amazing husband. Kobe loved me more than I could ever express or put into words. He was the early bird, and I was the night owl. I was fire and he was ice, and vice versa at times. We balanced each other out. He would do anything for me. God knew they couldn't be on this earth without each other. He had to bring them home to heaven together. Babe, you take care of our Gigi. And I got Nani, Bibi, and Coco. We're still the best team. May you both rest in peace and have fun in heaven until we meet again one day. We love you both and miss you forever and always.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.